Hello everyone, Daniel Kerr here. Okay, so I found myself a Korg EMX again. Here, let me turn this down just a tad. Okay, so I found this Korg EMX, and I haven't owned one in a long time. This is probably the fourth one that I've owned over the years, and every single time I get one, I like them and everything. Everybody knows I love the Electribes. But I don't know, I like the ESX more. I like the idea of sampling and everything. Anyway, this one had jitter, right? It had knob jitter. And man, whenever I see these with knob jitter, I buy them up because it's easy fix, right? Everybody complained for years and years, but it turns out that when you open it up inside, there's two circuit boards, and basically if they're kind of too close together, so you have the power supply under here, and then you have all these knobs right on top of the power supply, and what happens is you end up with like a magnetic field in there that messes up all the data. So people are changing pots and everything, trying to figure it out, and really you just need to put something between them to shield them, right? So I cracked this thing open and I put some parchment paper, baking paper in there. So there's about 3 or 4 layers in there. And it took away the jitter. I can make it jitter if I touch it in various spots, right? It really needs like a permanent fix. One of the best ways to do a permanent fix is to get a piece of a nice thin layer of plastic or something to put in there instead of just paper, and to put it in place. And then there's a couple of ground points you can use to ground it completely out and basically fix the machine forever. So, but this machine works fine now. And some things that I did, I'm gonna basically throw this up for sale. So if you're watching this is the machine that's up for sale. Yeah, basically, if you do get it, I recommend opening it up and doing the permanent fix, right? Right now I did this and it's working fine. I'm going to demonstrate it for you, but I'm selling it as is because, you know, I'm warning you now that it has been fixed with paper. All right, so next thing is I have this Behringer Effects unit. It is, I don't even know what year this came out or anything. It's the Mini Effects FEX 800 is what it's called. And it's a 24-bit 48K. Basically a reverb and delay and a little bit of modulation in there. There's a pitch shifter on there. It's really lightweight. It's kind of, it's just a crappy little effects unit, and it sounds pretty good. And it's fun to use. It's stereo in and stereo out. It has a foot switch that basically the foot switch does this, which activates or deactivates the thing. I'm gonna actually sell this with the unit, okay? So if you're checking this out, they're sold as a lot because it's kind of fun. I wish that I could show you exactly how to run 3 and 4 out to use this kind of like a send and return. That would be sweet. Oh, another thing is this, I had to use basically one of these AC powers. It's kind of the same one that you would use for an Alesis unit. It looks like a regular 9-volt adapter, but it's not. It's an AC to AC unit, which is kind of a pain to find. You can't get one for under 16 bucks online. Anyway, okay, so here's what's going on. Since I haven't owned one of these in a while, I just want to show you some ways to really liven up your EMX kit. What I have right now is I've thrown some drums on here. Here's what we got. Okay, now those snares, they're all going through the effects, and they're all going through effects number 1, right? Which I have set to the compressor, okay? And you can dial in the settings. I recommend a short attack time, right? Because it's drums. But my effects, now I'm going to talk really fast right now, and then I'm going to demonstrate. So basically, try to, you might have to pause the video and take some notes. But I'm going to let you know what I'm going to be doing to kind of liven this unit up, okay? I'm going to cover 4 or 5 different techniques at once, okay? So I'm holding the phone in my hand as well to record, so I'm sorry if it's a little jumpy, okay? My effects that I always use with Electribes is effects 1, I have compressor, okay? Effects 2, I have flange. My flange is generally turned up pretty high, right? But with a really slow speed, okay? And then the last, I have a BPM delay, all right? And the BPM delay, you can set it to anything you want, but, maybe 8s or 16s or something, and I arm these things on the fly. I basically use this button to arm them on the fly and get them all going at once. And That's how that works. Okay, now this compressor, these snares, here, that compressor makes the tail stick out. Here, let me turn it off. Try it again. Listen. Hear the difference? Now watch. Okay, I'm going to turn that attack down just a tad. Turn it up, make it a little slower. Okay. All right. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now that I've got some bass drums in here. But the thing about the internal EMX drums is they don't really have a convincing 808 kick with a long, long tail. So what I've done is I've gone to filter, synth part 1, and I've got that set to just a regular, oops, wrong. I'm messing with things I shouldn't be messing with. Hold on. All right, in the synth oscillators, I just have it set to a waveform, and I've got it on a regular sine wave. I've got the waveform position all the way to the bottom, right? Do you see that jump a little bit? That's kind of like that I can, like I said, I could make it jitter. Anyway, the next piece is here, the oscillator pitch. I've got that turned to normal, okay? And now here's the thing about it, right? If I put the envelope generator on to a slope and turn it all the way up, here's what it sounds like. Okay. Okay. And basically, if I turn the modulation to pitch and I turn this up, I've got it's a slope here. Listen. I can turn this down until there. 808. What I do is I turn the speed down a little bit. Now since it's monophonic, I can just play it, right? Okay, so that's one thing, right? Also, so far I've covered the snares to go through the compressor. I've showed you my effects setup, and I've showed you how to get an 808 kick out of one of the synth parts, okay? Next thing, these drums. If I take each one of these snares, right, and let's just say I'm going to leave this one intact, okay, but these other ones, like this one here, I'm going to set those to pitch in the modulation section. I'm going to turn those all the way up. I'm going to arm BPM sync. I'm going to turn the speed to 1/4. Looks like that's where it was anyway, default. And I'm going to change the waveform to random, okay? And I'm going to do that with this guy too. Pitch all the way up. Speed to 1/4. And got the waveform modulation to random, okay? So now, while I'm playing these, every fourth note, every quarter note, it's going to give me a random pitch. That gives me a lot of movement, okay? Here's the next thing, and I'm going to demonstrate all this in a second. Here's the next thing. My hi-hats, I'm going to turn those pitch all the way up too. I'm going to leave it on the sine wave, which is a triangle wave for this. It's sad. I'm going to turn the speed way down. So now, over time, it's going to change pitch, okay? I think I'll do it with this guy here as well. Turn it all the way up. Okay, let me throw a beat together and I'll show you. Let me turn this metronome on to record, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, hear those drums? Let me turn this metronome off. That's what that sounds like. Okay. Now let's see. All right, hear all that movement? Now watch these. So that's got a lot of movement in it. As you can see, the EMX is in fantastic condition. These things feel like mint condition, okay? It looks like mint condition. The only thing that's not mint condition is there's a little bend here, which means that somebody nicked the end of it with something, right? It's not going to come with a, you know what? I will include a smart media. I have one somewhere. I'll find one and include it. It's also loaded up. I've got these patterns that I'm working on now, but it's also loaded up with the UK bass set, which is I think Mitsubishi put it all together, right? Anyway, so yeah, let me set this thing on a tripod and I'll play a little bit of music for you guys. Everybody be blessed, and yeah, find the link to the reverb. Find the link to the reverb listing if you want to, or you can send me a message directly. I would love to sell it without having to pay any fees. So yeah, love you guys, and remember, it's going to be both of these units together as well. So yeah.